Grazie, bonjour, ciao, hi everyone. I'm Manuel. I'm a recruiter based in Zurich, Switzerland. And today I'm going to show you what you need to know when applying for jobs in Switzerland. If you're from abroad, there are a few quirks about applying to jobs in Switzerland that might surprise you. And even if you're a local, there are going to be some tips that might help you sharpen your application even more. So let's dive right in. First up, language. Switzerland has 4 national languages, but German, French, and Italian are the main ones you'll encounter in the job market. If you're applying to jobs in Zurich, Basel, or Bern, you'll need German, usually B2 or higher. For Geneva or Lausanne, French is essential, and for Ticino, it's all Italian. Even at global companies, don't assume that English is enough. It might be, but always double-check the job ad. Speaking the local language is about more than just being able to do the work. It's about cultural fit and about the other people already working there. I often hear people say that they only need English for their job and that they don't understand why German or French is required for a specific role. But while you might be able to do your job without speaking German or French, if there's a whole team of French speakers that now has to hold every meeting, every team event, every water cooler conversation that includes you in English instead of their own native language, then it becomes very disruptive to an established culture and workplace. That's why even in very tech-heavy jobs, the local language is still a huge factor for whether you will get the job or not. So keep that in mind. And if you're not fluent yet, mention that you're studying. Swiss employers appreciate initiative. In Switzerland, recruiters expect a structured and complete application. Here's what you need to include. First is your CV. It's about 2 pages or more. Don't feel forced to keep everything in one single page. It should be in reverse chronological order from most recent to the furthest in the past. Be honest and precise and explain whatever gaps you have in your resume by mentioning that you've took some time out or had a sabbatical, whatever is appropriate. A lot of jobs are still or again requiring cover letters. It's gotten very easy to create these with ChatGPT, but make sure that you customize them, personalize them, and focus on the role that you're applying to. I expect with the rise of ChatGPT, we're going to have some changes in this very soon. But for now, it's still an opportunity for you to stick out and explain things in your own words rather than in the bullet points of your CV. Number 3 is reference letters. This is a big one in Switzerland. Previous employers give written references here, often with coded language about your performance. So if you have written references from previous employers, it's very valuable to include them in your CV here. For somebody who's already worked in Switzerland, you're expected to have a written reference from every position you've had in Switzerland and to include those with your application. Number 4, diplomas and certificates. Whatever degree you have from a university, whatever certificates you've acquired later that are relevant to your job, include everything. We like a lot of documents here. If you want a more detailed explanation of what makes a great CV, I made a dedicated video all about the do's and don'ts for a great CV, and I'll link that in the description or somewhere here on the screen if I manage to make that happen. Next, if you're serious about finding a job and relocating to Switzerland, then having a Swiss phone number and address can give your application a real boost. It shows that you're either already here or ready to relocate. You can easily get a prepaid Swiss SIM card, and I think it's worth it. Recruiters are much more likely to call a local number. If you're job hunting from abroad, clearly state your intention to relocate and what your timeline for that would look like. Now let's talk about permits and citizenship. This part can be tricky if you're not Swiss. If you're from the EU or an EFTA country, it's relatively easy to get a work permit after securing a job. If you're from a non-EU country, Swiss employers have to prove they couldn't find a local or EU candidate first. This makes hiring harder, but not impossible. If you need visa sponsorship for a position, it means the employer has to jump through a lot of hoops to be able to hire you. This makes it much harder for you to find a job unless you're extremely qualified in a specialized niche and there's very, very few other people able to do the job that you're applying for. If you want to get more details, you can look at this video that I made all about the requirements to work in Switzerland. Link in the description or somewhere here on the screen if I manage. Let's talk about Swiss work culture. And there's a couple of cliches about Swiss people that definitely are true. One of them is punctuality. Being late isn't an attractive quality anywhere in the world, but especially in Switzerland, it's very important to be on time. Professionalism, a respectful tone, and appropriate dress is also a requirement. Generally, cultures fall across a spectrum of being very direct or very indirect in their communication. A country like Japan would be an example of a more indirect country, And a country like the Netherlands would be a very explicit, very direct country and culture. Switzerland falls a bit more on the indirect culture spectrum when it comes to the other German-speaking countries in the DACH region. So here, definitely expect to get a lot of maybes, a lot of yeahs that really are no's. People put a big emphasis on politeness, which includes not being too direct when offering criticism or demands. Generally, being very blunt and very direct can be seen as confrontational and rude. There's a big emphasis on cultural fit in Switzerland. Swiss hiring isn't just about your skills. It's also about people who match the company culture, that are able to communicate well with the team. And many decisions about hiring are consensus-based. In Switzerland, it's very common that you might meet the whole team or several team members before getting an offer for a job. And how they feel about you and their feedback for you is just as important for getting the job as the opinion of the manager. Let's recap and summarize what matters when applying for jobs in Switzerland. Submit a complete application portfolio, including your CV, all your documents, work permit, whatever references you have. Just make it as complete a set of documents as possible. Speaking the right language for the job and the region you're applying to is a big advantage. It can vastly increase your chances for getting the job. Number 3, get a prepaid Swiss SIM card and use a local phone number on your CV. Number 4, be upfront about your work permit. Mention what citizenship you have, what work permit eligibility. Number 5, make sure you understand the culture that you're applying for. If you're serious about working in and moving to Switzerland, then these steps will give you a real edge. If you found this helpful, please give the video a like and subscribe for more insights. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. I'd love to help you find a job in Switzerland. Thanks for watching. Ciao. A bientôt. Arrivederci. And see you guys.